Hi. So the first thing that came to me as I was pressing start this live was to ask, are you learning lessons or are you just repeating your lessons? Which I think is a valid question. Because we all know that, you know, some people need more motivation than others to really learn and understand something, and sometimes you have to go through something more than once before you realize that you don't want to go through it no more, or that you deserve better, or that, you know, whatever the case might be. The last time I went live, I asked y'all if you knew your self-worth, and I feel like that's still a very valid question in today. Sometimes I don't even like to be on Facebook and see certain things, because I feel like some of y'all just move very crazy. Like, my first top most recommendation would just be not to put your business on social media, like your private business, because I don't want to know it. And, you know, I don't want to see about you, you know, saying that your boyfriend is abusive and saying that you're gonna leave him, and then next thing you know, that's your husband that's baying you love him forever. Personally, I don't want to see it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to know it, because then I start to thinking like, damn, does she know her worth? You know, like, it's not funny, but I mean, really, and I don't like, you know, I just don't want to see it personally. I know it's other people that probably don't want to see it too. So, that's that. I'm gonna do some sound bowl healing. I don't know if I showed y'all my new big bowl. It is magnifique. I will soon be offering in-person sound bowl healing sessions, which is different. Like, the way I'm gonna do my sessions is gonna be different as well. But, you know, that's gonna be different. And this is my old one. It's so teeny tiny, right? It was like, what an upgrade. So I love that. What else do I have going on? You know, I have to write out stuff because this brain of mine is like constantly moving and moving and moving. So I'll be like, what am I writing about? What am I talking about today? So I made some statuses that I wanted to expound on. Sometimes I feel like it's a status that I make, and it's actually kind of a rhetorical question. I feel like y'all be going in with the comments on that. And then when I post a status that I actually want y'all to answer the question to, y'all don't answer the question. And it's kind of just like, it's okay. But I was talking about distance. I wonder why people let distance stop them from getting towards their desires. And, you know, I expounded on like how, you know, distance, how I feel like I have a Sagittarius moon on one of my charts and I have a Sag rising on the other chart. Either way, I have strong Sag placements, and I have a need to be free, and I have a need to explore and travel and just view different things. That is something that is important to me. And you know, I feel like people let distance define a lot. Like, even from their love lives to the things that they want to accomplish, to opportunities that they may receive, to just, I mean, on a large scale. And I feel like, for one thing, distance has become a dilemma in the day and age that we live in, just simply because it costs money to travel however you want to travel, whether it is with your car, renting a car, you know, a plane, whatever it is, passports, if you're going out of the country, you know that it all costs money. And I feel like that is the biggest part of distance. But I just feel like, I don't know, distance is not something that I would let get in the way of what I want to achieve in any way, shape, or form. And I don't know. That's just me. Like, So I want to know why people let distance define their desires. Like, you know. I mean, yeah, like I feel like that's just my whole valid question. But anyways, another thing I posted was asking people, are they content with where they are in life right now? And quite frankly, I expected everyone to say no. Like, and not to say, just because you're saying that you're content does not mean that you're not grateful. Does not mean that you are not ever blessed. It does not mean that you are not constantly growing and moving forward. It just means that you're not content, literally content with where you are. I see being content as being perfectly fine with everything around you, from your finances to your work to your relationship and your public and your private life to, you know, your material things, where you live, all that. I look at that as being content. So when I ask you if you're content with where you are, I was actually expecting everyone to say no, because I feel like everyone is constantly growing and evolving. You can be happy where you are right now and not be content. I'm happy with where I am with everything that goes on in my life. I'm happy with my relationship. I'm happy with my material resources. I'm happy on the inside, but I'm not content. Like, I don't think there's a point in time in my life where I'll ever be content. I feel like I'll be constantly working on my life purpose until I get called back to the next realm. And why is that? Because that's what I was put here to do. I don't feel like at any point in time will my work ever be finished. And some people might look at that as draining, but I mean, I don't see it as draining. I also saw a post today, and somebody was like, they was like, your purpose does not equal your passion. And I don't agree with that. I mean, hey, for you, you know, your purpose might not equal your passion, but for me, I am passionate about my purpose. Otherwise, would it really be my purpose, and would I really be pursuing it if I wasn't passionate about it? Yes, I have ups and downs to where I do feel like working on my life purpose, and when I don't, because I feel like I just have a life purpose that requires a lot of work. And then not only is my life purpose a lot of work, but it's even more work in this material world to actually see my life purpose through. So it be a lot. But my purpose is still my passion. And if your purpose is not your passion, then maybe that is not your passion at all. Just my thoughts. Or maybe that is not your true purpose at all. Because I feel like you should find, I don't know. But yeah. What else was I saying? And I just want to talk about this too. I'm just talking right now. But a girl had commented on my status where I was like, are you content with where you are right now? And basically she was saying how she is, you know, like she feels stuck. Like she has ideas and she's constantly writing them out on papers, but never knowing how to, or never doing the work to pursue the things that she wants to accomplish, and all of that stuff. And I feel like for me that hit home, because a couple of years ago, that was me. Like, I always had all these great ideas for how I could pretty much do anything. I didn't know what I was meant to do. Like, for a while I was out here modeling. For a little bit I went to school for nursing. You know, for a little bit I was, you know what I'm saying, like I was just all over the place, because I can literally do anything. That's a part of my purpose also, is to be very well rounded in what I do. But I was struggling. I didn't know my purpose, so I was struggling to find out where to put my energy towards, how I can move forward. And also I was also struggling to get done the things that I thought about and implement my ideas and whatnot. And I don't know, for me, I kind of feel like one day I just woke up and I was just like, this ain't it. Like, and getting a little personal with y'all, I feel like, You know, I sometimes get personal, sometimes don't. But for me, my situation, I was living with my grandmother at the moment, in New York. And, you know, I was working, I was modeling, I was doing a lot of stuff, a lot of experiencing of life in general, which was cool, but it was none of that was my purpose. And I felt like I had started off with so many ideas for so many things that I wanted to do, but just wasn't getting stuff done. And one day I woke up, it was May 1st, and I woke up and it's kind of just like I popped up and I was like, this ain't it. And then I went and I signed me and my son up into the shelter. Why did I do that? Because I felt like, you know, I needed a complete new everything. And, you know, for a woman, especially a woman with children, it's harder to maneuver. And even for a woman without children, it's still harder to maneuver and lock down and secure certain things. And I just felt like where I was at right now, I was going to keep completing the cycle. So I woke up, I signed me and my son into a shelter. I started pursuing something different. I started putting my focus towards something else. I signed up for school. I locked my hair up. I did a lot. During that breakthrough, and every step that I took, I mean, just led me closer and closer and closer and closer to where I am today. I just thought about that. I didn't realize that I locked my hair up at the beginning of my breakthrough, which is actually awesome. But yeah, like I did what I had to do, and that's why I'm really personal with a lot of people. I feel like people don't mind getting personal with me. You know, I don't mind, you know, letting y'all know, like, I've lived all different type of lifestyles, from being the least privileged, you know, to not being able to have the bare basic necessities of life, which is lights, food, and water, and clothes. And yeah, like I've come from a lot, like, and you know, I've been through a lot, and that's why I can relate. And I'm also that judgment-free friend, so I feel like that's why I have that judgment-free spirit, and I feel like that's why people open up to me the way they do. You know, when y'all inbox me, when y'all talk to me, when y'all ask for readings and stuff like that. But yeah, like one day I just woke up and I just snapped. Not really snapped. I wasn't angry. I wasn't upset. But I packed up 2 little small bags. I went up to the building. I signed me and my son up into the shelter. You know what I'm saying? Like and it's just been up from there since then. I started my business when I was living in the shelter. I had just like shea butters and sugar scrubs at first, and I didn't have much of a media presence. So I was mostly selling my shea butters to people at the college that I was going to. I went to college for a while. I made straight A's. I'm brilliant, of course, but I'm not brilliant to be in a white man's school for somebody to give me a certificate and tell me my worth, because I already know my worth. You know what I'm saying? But I did that. I went through, you know, going to school. I started my business when I was in the shelter. Nobody would have ever knew. You know what I'm saying? Like that was the start of my journey. And because my journey is still going on, like, so I get lost in where to tell y'all about what's next, because so much stuff happens. Like, I went to school. You know, that was kind of a waste of time. I'll never go back to college, just because that's not for me. Not because schoolwork is hard, but just because that's not the validation that I personally feel like I need in my life. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. You know, I just woke up one day and was like, boom, I'm going to stop. Like, I'm going to take action. And that's what I want people to do, is to stop being victim to your situation. Because when you have that victim mindset in your situation, you will not grow. I felt like I couldn't do anything. I couldn't go nowhere. I'm in New York. It's mad expensive. Like, fucking $1,500 for a nice looking 1-bedroom or a studio apartment. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't afford that, technically. But guess what? So what? I got my ass up. I went to the shelter. I received all those benefits from the government, cash assistance, food stamps, whatever it is that they were willing to give me. I took it. Um, I used that money and I invested that money to start my business up. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's about utilizing your resources and not being ashamed to get it out the mud. Literally. Because, I mean, you would just be surprised. And quite frankly, you know, I feel like maybe, you know, some people are going through this situation, or you're on the brink of doing this and you're afraid to do it. I don't never talk about things that I went through until I get through them, because I want to help you out more, you know, than you know, just telling you a sad story. I want to show you that there's light at the end of the tunnel. And yeah, I feel like you cannot have the victim mindset to the situation that you are in. You need to be able to do whatever it takes for you to get out of a situation. Do not let anybody have control over you. A lot of people are in relationships with people they no longer want to be in relationships with, but you don't want to leave because you're scared to be homeless. You don't want to go into shelter because you're worried about how people are going to look at you, or you know what I'm saying? Or you're not looking into the resources. Some people don't want to get on public assistance because they're too embarrassed to swipe a food stamp card or to receive some TANF or cash assistance from the government, or whatever the case may be. And it's just like, stop worrying so much about how other people feel about your situation, because your situation is your situation. I got it from out of the mud. What one of y'all knew that I was in the shelter, that I started my business in the shelter? One room, 2 bunk beds. I bought a hot plate, and you know what I'm saying? And that's how we was maneuvering from there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Like, I get so lost in my thoughts, but you are in complete control of your situation. The universe isn't going to throw anything at you that you cannot get through. And when you stress yourself out about situations, I want people to understand how I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna go into the sound bowl because it's needed. I want people to understand that stress does not help you in the least bit. I feel like people, what do people really think that stressing does? Stress adds pressure to the situation and weight to the situation without helping to improve the situation. So not only are you still going through the same situation that you're going through, but now you're stressing about it. And what the fuck is that doing to help you? It's absolutely doing nothing at all. And I feel like when you learn, you know, to realize that, and to realize that stress is I never saw her say that stress is not, for one thing, is not inevitable. You can control your stress levels, be that as it may. Just breathing at first to stop yourself from stressing. Instead of stressing, how about you be a solution finding person? You know what I'm saying? 9 times out of 10, you're stressing in the bed. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? This is never going to work for me. Then you start to get into the down thought process, and you go just down from there. Because once in your mind, you start thinking, and God forbid, you literally saying that you can't do something, it will never get done until you change that. And that's why it's just important that you don't fall that deep. Because you need to understand that not only do your words have power, but your thoughts have that damn near that same power. And so it's important not to fall into a slump. And when you are going through tough situations, it's important that you use a solution mindset to get to what you're going through, as opposed to thinking about things through a beaten mindset of just what you can't accomplish and what you can't do, or how you're just stressed out because life keeps hitting you hard. I got news for you. You know, life hits everybody hard. It's inevitable. It's called the law of cycles. What goes around must come back around, and around and around and around. What goes up must come down, like rain and precipitation. It is all a cycle. You will never be up. You will never be happy forever. You will never smile forever. A frown will inevitably follow your smile one day, but you will smile again. That's just how life works. So don't feel like life is just attacking you, because I had that mentality in my state. And I'm not talking about, because me being in the shelter and stuff was not the darkest part of my journey whatsoever. What was going on prior to my wake up was the dark shit of my journey. And I don't know how much of that I've ever gone in detail to share with y'all, but just understand that life is not here just specifically to beat you down. And don't think that you're the only one who's getting beat the fuck up. You better start weaving and, you know what I'm saying, dodging and learning how to carry the mentality to get you through what you want. And that's what matters. Greetings, goddess. Following that, we'll do some sound bowl healing to just cleanse the energy and just uplift. So remember to breathe properly. Take time out to breathe properly. When you inhale, your stomach should poke out. When you exhale, it should come back to a relaxed state. Inhale, poke the stomach out. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through your nose as well. Pretty simple. Never tried to use that one before. Can you hear it? Let me know if y'all can hear it, or if I should move the camera closer. Can't hear anything? I'm moving closer. Let me see. Yeah, all up in my grill now. Can you hear it now? Somebody's coming.
Why you got a door all up?
Harry, why wasn't you waking out? Why weren't you waking out?
Well, you can't.
Mm-hmm.
No, she's not.
Get out.
Harry, I want gum. I want gum. Chewing gum. Chewing gum?
Sit down. Sit
Yes,
down.
chewing gum.
Sit down.
Yes, chewing gum.
Ooh.